Our final company this evening is Technology Minerals, who announced today that they will IPO on the London Stock Exchange's main market tomorrow morning with the ticker TM1. TechMin are focused on battery metals, both as an explorer for cobalt, nickel, manganese, and lithium, with 6 exploration projects underway in America, Spain, Ireland, and Cameroon. Can you believe it? And also at the other end of the cycle as a recycler of lead and lithium ion batteries. Technology Minerals have their own IP for battery recycling and are currently building 2 factories, one for lead batteries, the other for recovering battery metals from lithium ion. Alex Stanbury, CEO, joins us live to make the investment case. Welcome, Alex.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me. And as you say, this is an extremely exciting time for us, the eve of our admission to the London Stock Exchange. This has really been the culmination of a huge amount of work. And it's really a new chapter and a new era for Technology Minerals. And it's going to allow us to kind of move forward at pace and develop our strategy. So yeah, really exciting times. I'll take you through our presentation now. So we've got our disclaimer, read that at your own leisure. As I said, Technology Minerals was set up to take advantage really of the time we're in a society where we really need to be looking at less extraction and more reuse. So creating a circular economy. And we are the only UK listed company to create a circular economy in the battery metals space. We are very happy to be involved in the decarbonisation of road transport, and we will be exploring and mining and recycling battery metals from spent batteries. So a lot of exciting stuff going on. I'll take you now onto our group structure. You can see that we have 2 sides to the business, which is how we create our circular economy. Firstly, we have our upstream projects. So we've got 6 resource projects, 3 of which sit in the US, 1 in northern Spain, 1 in Ireland, and 1 in Cameroon. And then our recycling side, which comprises of lithium ion battery recycling and lead acid battery recycling. I'll take you through all of that in detail later in the presentation. But firstly, we'll go through our resource projects. Here's a map of our resource projects. You can see that we have a fairly wide spread of projects across the globe. This is in order to shorten supply chains in our view. There's a burgeoning battery manufacturing sectors in each of these areas of the globe, and supply chains should be as short as possible. The US, for instance, has no nickel mining, no cobalt mining at the moment at all, and no processing. And obviously a number of gigafactories going up there as well. So it's important that they have their own supply chain of critical materials, and that has made its way into US policy recently as well. And then we've got a lithium project in Ireland, a nickel copper cobalt project in northern Spain, and a nickel laterite project containing copper and cobalt as well in Cameroon. So I'll take you through our projects one by one. Firstly, our Blackbird project, which is currently under option, an option we intend to exercise fairly shortly after IPO. You can see, if you look on the map on the right-hand side, this is a map of Idaho near Salmon. And you can see our Blackbird project there and the Imperium project next to it. The Imperium project is about 14,000 acres, so it's very large and takes up the entire sort of loin, really, of the Idaho Cobalt Belt, and the Blackbird next to it is contiguous and sits just below the red circle there, which is our neighbor Jervois Mining. Jervois will be the first producer of cobalt in the US and are on track to be producing in 2022. So that, in our view, will bring a whole new focus to the Idaho Cobalt Belt, which is, by the way, the only place one of the only places in the world and the only place in the US that grades high enough in cobalt that you can mine it as a primary product, and rather than it being a byproduct of nickel or copper mining. So strategically, the Idaho Cobalt Belt is hugely interesting to the US and to the US government. So we see a lot more focus coming to this area in the next year or two. And you can see in the photo at the top as well, the topography. It's extremely friendly around there. It's got extremely good access and power and water. It's national forestry land, so it's extremely easy to get in and out, and all the roads are very well serviced. That there is where Jervois are setting up their plant, and as of last week, they actually blasted their first did their first blasting in order to start operating their mine later in the year. So they're fully committed, which bodes very well for us because the permitting side of things has all been done. And as I said, if you can also see that we have them boxed in on the along strike. So once they're producing, I'm sure that they'll have an interest in talking to us. The Blackbird project itself has historic drilling on it, all of which has produced very decent results for cobalt and for nickel. It was drilled by Noranda. We have 23 drill holes permitted there and we're planning to drill 16 of them next year. So there's some good progress to be had there in fairly short order. The Imperium project is 694 claims. As I said, it covers 14,000 acres, so it's very, very large for US terms anyway. And it's all near the town of Salmon. And this is a very large historic mining district. The Blackbird mine, which ran for 22 years, is just below our project there as well. And then moving on, we have a polymetallic play in South Dakota, which is quite a novel play. It would be low capex and easy to mine. So we're rather excited about this prospect. We've had 2 field visits this year, and are just waiting for the assays back. But it's a manganese focused play with outcropping mineralization at surface. So again, as I said, it should be extremely exciting to get the news flow out of that. Moving on to the next slide, which details our Irish projects, our Spanish projects, and our Cameroon project. We'll start with the project in Ireland. This is a spodumene project, so hard rock lithium. We've had some very high grade 1.75% float from that project, and it's currently being drilled by our partner, joint venture partner, Global Battery Metals, who are listed on the TSXV. We're waiting for the results of that drilling program, but at the moment it's a zero cost to us, and they're earning into our entirely owned project. Then we have our project in northern Spain, which is 7 exploration permits. You can see that on the map in the middle. The St. Patrick license is the first one of ours to be granted, which is if you're looking at the cluster of licenses on the left-hand side, it's the one on the bottom. That actually works very well for us. It's a big license in itself and has an awful lot of work to be done on it. It's the site of the old Aramo mine, out of which 200,000 tons of ore were recovered, with very high grades of copper, so up from 1 to 20%, nickel from 1 to 3%, and 1 to 3% cobalt, so extremely high grade. We are now back down there doing work, and we'll be undertaking work actually in the old mine next year. And interestingly, the mine was entered at the ground level of a very large hill, and we found some very interesting mineralization on top on the plateau as well, which has never been explored. So the entire hill itself has never had actually any exploration. So we've got all the down dip upside as well as the entire hill. So we're really chasing a resource there, chasing a historic resource and looking for a new one as well. So that's also drill ready on the plateau, and we were drilling in the old mine next year as well. So very exciting, and we're looking forward to moving that one forward at pace and actually proving up a historic resource. Sorry, proving up a maiden resource. Apologies. Then we have the TMC project in Cameroon. This is located near Nakamuna, which was the old Geovic mine. Again, this was a project of a world-class project. We believe that we're on strike to that. We've had some results that would make us believe that as well. So these licenses themselves are all huge. Each license there is 500 square kilometers. So our next port of call is to do fly an aero mag and then do some reconnaissance drilling. But this is potentially a very large nickel laterite. which will feed into the battery manufacturing sector, which has got very large forecast shortages of nickel. So onto this slide, which basically just shows you where each of our projects lies on the value curve. At the top of our value curve, really, we have Astamet and Leinster. This is one because we have a historic resource there, and secondly because we're drilling. The Blackbird project has a little bit of historic drilling from Noranda, and then we're lined up to drill 16 holes next year, which will take it further up the curve. And for those three projects, we hope to be approaching a maiden resource in the very near future, which will obviously be a great step forward for Teck Minerals. And then we have Imperium, Oakama, and Cameroon, each of which are at various stages of their exploration programs, and we have exciting programs laid out for each of those for the coming year to move them further up that curve. And just going on to our milestones for the next 6 to 12 months, as I said, for Blackbird, we have 16 drill holes planned. So as soon as the snow melts in Idaho around March, we're in the contact with drilling contractors at the moment and hope to be able to start drilling there early next year. Imperium will be doing regional and detailed mapping, soil and rock chip sampling over the rest of the ground that we haven't covered yet. And we've already got 4 very exciting prospects out of the ground, which we'll be doing deeper exploration work on, including channel sampling and trenching, and we'll do some further geophysics on the entirety of the license area as well. Leinster is being drilled by Global Battery Metals, as I said. There's no expenditure due from us at the moment. In due course, we do have the right to spend money and retain our ownership. So we'll see how that goes. But we plan to do so, obviously. And then Astamet, again, as I said, we've got the underground mapping sampling. We've got a health and safety assessment coming up to make sure that we can enter the mine safely and do the requisite metallurgy tests and the underground drilling as well. And then we'll be doing mapping, sampling, and spectral analysis and drilling on the plateau. And TMC, we've got field mapping and sampling, and really the key there is going to be the airborne mag, which will lead us to doing some reconnaissance drilling. And in Oakama, we are going to continue with our field sampling and just seeing where the results lead us, and taking an XRF out with us as well to hone down further on where we want to focus for our pacing, trenching, and then drilling. And then that takes us to the other side of our business. Obviously, we are focused on a circular economy, and as much as we want to provide the metals for the battery metals industry to create lithium-ion batteries, it's also critical to us that we reuse the materials that we do extract and that everyone extracts, and that it's not all just about extraction. It's incredibly important to be looking at reuse. And it's very much on everyone's agenda and the forefront of everyone's minds at the moment. So we started founded Recyclers a couple of years ago, and now are really at the forefront of our field there. We're extremely happy with the progress we're making. We aim to lead the lithium-ion battery recycling market and move the automotive industry towards 100% recyclable, zero landfill solutions. We're doing that within our recycling solutions ourselves as well. Here's a quick table just explaining the size of the market. You can see on the lithium-ion side at the moment, the automotive is only 10% of the market, whereas lead acid is 90%. You can imagine with the banning of ICEs and internal combustion engine cars in 2030, how much this is going to shift and how quickly it's going to shift. And there's going to be a huge amount of lithium-ion batteries floating around and needing recycling. So we aim to solve that problem on an industrial scale for the UK and then into Europe. So just take you on to our business model for Recyclers. On the left-hand side, we have the providers of the batteries to us, and on the right-hand side, we've got the paying customers. So we have a joint venture with a large automotive waste oil recycling company in the UK, who have 13 depots around the UK and a fleet of transporters. So we've teamed up with them in order to get supply of feedstock from both the lead acid and the lithium ion side. Lithium ion batteries are extremely dangerous, and transporting them is a hazardous pastime. We're also actually within Recyclers manufacturing our own battery boxes for the safe transport of lithium ion batteries. And then we have various other battery providers as well, the digital marketplace, as well as industry partners. There'll be insurance companies as well. So 400,000 cars a year go to the insurance industry, and they're used to dealing with them, but they're not used to dealing with lithium ion. So we've had many a conversation with the industry, and they're extremely happy to be having someone solve their problem, because they don't want to be left with lithium ion batteries sitting on site. There's also the battery suppliers and manufacturers, and also the gigafactories, which are being built in the UK as well. We're in the midst of conversations with all of them to supply front-end feedstock. So we have a good spread of feedstock suppliers. And then on the other side of that equation is obviously what we do with the materials after we recycled them. So we have the plastics and the metals, which get sold out into the trade. And then we have the black mass, which goes to the refiners. It is our aim in the next couple of years to have a hydrometallurgical process, which we will put onto the back end, that will then take that black mass back to its constituent parts, and we'll be able to create a circular economy within that industry itself as well, and sell the black mass, sell the constituent parts, so the salts and the metals, back to the battery manufacturers, so that they can then use them in the manufacture of their new batteries as well. This is just a quick table on our revenue mechanisms. You can see that on the left-hand side, it's recovered materials that we can either trade out, we can get grants from the UK government, and we can also license our technology, which we hold the IP for. So we own the IP and the process, and the IP on the process for the recycling technology for both lithium ion and lead acid. And on the lithium ion side, we also get gate fees, as we're solving a problem for the OEMs and the battery manufacturers. We actually get paid a gate fee to take in that feedstock. On the lead acid side, we pay for the batteries, but there's a lot of margin there, and we are also the only solution that's actually creating zero to landfill. The traditional way of dealing with lead acid batteries has not been terribly clean. It's either been landfill, manual soaring, or being put directly into smelters, which obviously involves burning plastics and battery acid. So we are an industrialization of and cleaning up of that process, and we plan to expand throughout the UK. It's an old business, but there's a lot of volume. A quick slide on our competitors. You can see that we have, we aim to be a full service, and we are a full service company. We are ahead of our competitors in that respect, and we can take all types of batteries and all architectures and all chemistries. So we are also a UK company. We're building our plant in the UK. We're using UK engineers, and as I said, we own our own IP and IP around our processes. So it's very exciting, and we believe that we are cutting edge and at the forefront of our field. The milestones on for the recycling side for the next year, really, the key here is to get these plants up and running. We have 2 sites, one for each technology, both in the Midlands. The plants are, one of which is going in as we speak, and will be commissioned end of December, beginning of January, and the second one will be and the lithium ion is going in towards the beginning of next year, with a view to being active at the beginning of next year, and then commercially up to speed by the end of Q1. We are already revenue producing. by trading lithium ion, but these will obviously kickstart the company into very serious revenue generation and allow us to then build out further plants as well. So whilst those are being built and commissioned, we'll be adding further commercial contracts and partnerships. And once they're up and running, we'll be ordering new plants to put in further sites in the UK. So we plan to roll out six lead acid plants in the UK, and we'll have 2 to 3 lithium ions over the next 6 years.
1 minute to go, Alex.
Okay, thank you. Well, actually, just good timing. We're just finishing up here. In conclusion, we are the UK's first listed company focused on creating a sustainable circular economy for battery metals. And we believe we're perfectly positioned to take advantage of this 21st century transport revolution. We are a British company, and we're poised to be a key player in the supply and security of battery metals through the ownership of vital mineral assets and control over the recycling technology for which we have the IP. And we also aim to develop our own existing mineral assets, acquire new projects as a public company, and further expand into the battery recycling business by creating new partnerships and also rolling out our business across the UK. And we have a very experienced management team, which I head up and I'm very proud of. And we're ready for the challenges that lie ahead. And thank you very much for listening to me this evening. Wonder if you've got any questions at all.
Okay, Alex, so first of all, congratulations. You IPO tomorrow. How exciting is that?
Incredibly exciting, yes. It's been a while in the making. A lot of hard work's gone into it, and I'm very proud of the team for getting us here.
Yes, as Dylan said, it's a slow train coming.
Indeed it is, yes.
Very good. Anyway, congratulations for tomorrow when it comes. And remind me, you raised, what was it, 5.5 million for pre-IPO and $1.5 million around the IPO. Is that correct?
Yes, it was almost 5 in the pre-IPO and 1.5 coming into the IPO gross. So yes.
And very, very roughly, just quickly give us a sense of where that all gets spent.
Absolutely.
Asset allocation, as they call it.
Of course. Quite a lot will go into getting the lithium ion lead acid battery plants up and running. That's the key to us now. Obviously, both sides of the business are extremely important, but that is cash generative. And as a junior mining company, to have a cash generative asset is really, really exciting for us. Having been in the corporate finance world before I got involved fully on the operational side of mining, whatever it was, 2008, it's very nice to actually be in a position where we can have, well, I'm in charge of a company where we're going to have cash flow rather than the usual junior mining model. So,
indeed, tangible assets. Okay, talking of which, Dinesh Nair asks a very pertinent question. Only 49% of Recyclers is owned by Technology Minerals. Who owns the remainder?
The management team.
Okay, very good. So who owns the 49% then?
The management of Recyclers, which includes myself, Robin, and 3 non-executive directors.
So it's Recyclers, and you're part of that team on the one hand, and Technology Minerals on the other hand, and you're
Absolutely.
part of that team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We stand independently at Recyclers as well for various reasons, and it is an independent business. But Technology Minerals founded it to be part of the circular economy for the group. So and also to have a cash generative asset within what we're doing, but also, you know, it's extremely important from a circular economy perspective to have that. But you know, the business will be looked at differently and rated differently and attract different pools of capital as well. So, you know, as we go forward raising money with Technology Minerals, we'll continue to invest in Recyclers to keep our ownership at 49%. Okay.
Josh Cole asks, these are always very tricky questions, I'm afraid. Sorry, Alex. Where's your share price going to be 12 months post IPO? So in 12 months' time, when we come back to interview you, what's your share price going to be?
I'd love that crystal ball, but we have a huge amount going on, and I'm excited by all of it, as is the team and the board here. So I believe we can do a very good job of through communicating with shareholders and communicating with the public and getting our news flow out there and moving our share price solidly north.
Riz K asks, how many times can the batteries be recycled? So how many times can a lead acid battery be recycled, and also a lithium ion battery be recycled?
That's a very interesting question. If you're looking at a truly circular economy, then in that particular market, then I think for the lead, it's actually exponential. I don't think there's any limit to it at all. And the quality of the lead that comes out once you've refined it is as good as the lead that went in on day one. And then it's really down to the other plastics and the metals, all of which are infinitely recyclable as well. And then so I don't think there's any limit. There are certain components that have very tight tolerances on the lithium ion side, so they may be recycled into something else rather than batteries. So yeah, you can continue to use the components, but not necessarily as batteries.
Dinesh Nair asks another question, a very good one, I have to say, a pertinent question. Tesla already offers a battery take-back service. Won't other car manufacturers follow suit and develop a recycling capability in-house? Why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and we've spoken to a number of OEMs who are keen to potentially bring us in as being their solution. They're not in the recycling game. This is not what they do, and if they're doing it, they're generally doing it out of a lack of choice and a needs must. So we aim to. It's one of the reasons we are pushing ahead so rapidly now, is to make sure that we're in a position to offer them the service that they require, so that they're not stuck in a position where they have to go out and develop it themselves.
Okay, what's your strategy? Do you foresee into the future that revenues and profits from recycling will continue to fund the exploration side of the business? Because they are two quite distinct parts, aren't they?
They are. A lot of the profit from the recycling will be used to build out further recycling plants. And we have a strategy for that over the next 6 years in the UK, and then probably into Europe. So and definitely, there will be some of that money will be funneled back into technology minerals. As I said, having been in the corporate finance world and seen junior miners who get caught on the wrong side of a commodities super cycle and find it very difficult to raise money. I want to be in a position that the least we can do is continue to move our projects forward should the market sort of sentiment move against mining companies, which it does from time to time. And then when the super cycle comes around again, you're in a position to really strike hard, because you've been able to put money into those projects and advance them in a time when other people are sitting on their hands.
Okay, talking of super cycles, where exactly are we in the exploration cycle at the moment, do you think? Because you're putting your money where your mouth is in 6 different projects at the moment.
Absolutely. I think we're at a fantastic time for this. Timing's everything. We have a massive EV boom, and we have a forecast shortfall in nickel, cobalt, lithium, and that undersupply can't easily be met. There's been a massive underinvestment in junior mining over the last decade, and this is now being noticed. But you can't just plug that gap. We are there to try and plug a part of that gap. But these shortfalls are real, and they will happen, and they will affect the OEM's rollout of some of their vehicles, and certainly the prices in the market are likely to rise as well. So I think timing-wise, we're pretty spot on. Alex,
the audience has stayed with you loyally through to 8:05 tonight. Reward them with one last answer, please. Why should they hold your stock? Why should they buy your stock tomorrow morning, Alex?
Well, for many of the reasons I've just been through, I think we're an extremely exciting proposition. We are a circular economy in battery metals. We are unique in that respect in the UK. Battery metals recycling is absolutely vital to the environment and what we're doing, and also a market that's growing with incredible speed. So on both sides, the extraction side and on the recycling side, I think we are an extremely exciting proposition for people.
Okay. Alex Stanbury, thank you so much for joining us. Alex is the CEO of Technology Minerals. TM1, look out for the ticker TM1 tomorrow when it lists on the main market of the London Stock Exchange. Thank you very much indeed for joining us tonight.